The United States has included Bitcoin in its national reserves and has already made its first major purchases. Ethereum has shown a 100% increase in just 3 weeks. BNB is preparing for a major, significant surge. Trump's policies where will they lead? How will this affect your assets? Watch this episode closely, because a cash prize awaits you. The contest will take place within this video. We will also do a detailed analysis of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and BNB and see where they are headed in the near future. Enjoy watching. Trump's policies are completely changing the course of digital asset history. In March 2025, Donald Trump signed a decree to create a state reserve in Bitcoin. This reserve is stored in a special government facility called the Digital Fort Knox. The main purpose of this decree is to preserve and accumulate Bitcoin reserves, and under no circumstances to sell them. That was the law that was established. Now, at the official state level, the US regards Bitcoin in the same way as gold. If previously reserves were accumulated in gold, now they also have Bitcoin digital gold. The signing of this decree spurred a rapid rise in Bitcoin, and Bitcoin has already surpassed the $110,000 mark. This is a new era. Digital gold has now been officially recognized by major powerful countries. Why does Trump's decree actually influence the market and the prospects for tremendous future growth? The recognition of Bitcoin at the state level by one of the world's most powerful countries at this moment. For the first time in history, a major power is recognizing Bitcoin as an official national reserve. This event, of course, instantly elevates Bitcoin's status and draws attention from other countries, as well as increases the trust of institutional investors who are ready to bring in large amounts of money. Donald Trump's decree is a clear signal for major banks and large-scale funds. Now, the state is not just allowing cryptocurrencies, it is accumulating them itself and even holding them in the country's reserves. And this opens the door to a large influx of institutional investors. This will give a significant boost going forward. Ethereum is also gaining momentum, and in just 3 weeks, it has grown by more than 100%. At the same time, there are currently no signs of the market being overheated. Binance Coin is the currency of the largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance. And of course, a huge amount of capital is concentrated on this exchange. Binance has been in the accumulation phase for a very long time, and today we will analyze this in detail. As you know, Bitcoin has a limited supply, only 21 million. And the United States has issued a decree clearly stating that Bitcoin cannot be sold. And this means that they will only accumulate it, amassing it within their own country. And this is a very positive sign for the continued growth ahead. The conclusion here is, of course, obvious. The signing of this decree is not just some informational release. It is a clear signal for large capital to enter this market. And of course, what will contribute to further rapid growth is a large influx of institutions now. Damn. Okay, one more time. Institutional investors. That word is hard to say. In short, I won't say that word. All right, maybe I will. So let's move on to the cryptocurrency market overview. And of course, we start our review with Bitcoin on the Bitfinex exchange, monthly time frame, dynamic growth. The upward trend is being maintained. And so far, this structure hasn't changed. The previous month closed above the high, the bar closed there. This means that further growth should continue. The weekly time frame has basically played out clearly here. Since the previous review, there was a test here last week of $100,000. Exactly, yes. And at this stage, we'll open the chart and see that this was precisely a clear boundary according to Fibonacci. There you go. The test was done, so further growth may continue. As I mentioned in previous episodes, the range of this rapid, lightning-fast growth could reach up to about $153,000 to $154,000. And here we will have our next key level, after which a slight pullback may follow, right? or there could be accumulation near this level, followed by further continued growth. There are some interesting levels here now, since they are not small, right? Unlike what we saw here, where the percentage changes were much smaller. Here, there are large, strong jumps. I believe that we will reach those peaks around $240,000 to $250,000, and these will be the maximums in this Bitcoin growth cycle. That's it. After that, most likely there will be a pullback. But again, this is only from the perspective of technical analysis. It's important to keep that in mind. But what's even more important to consider is the news background, which can completely change the course of events. From the perspective of technical analysis, in terms of buying and selling, yes, for some speculation, trading entry points from this level, entry points from this level that I'm indicating right now, right? They are in principle valid and will perform well. But if we consider an investor's strategy, an investor's position, then of course everything could continue to grow dynamically, and these peaks will be surpassed much, much more strongly. If the news background continues to be fueled and money is shifted even more actively from various sources into the cryptocurrency market, and let me remind you, the cryptocurrency market today is just a drop in the ocean, a tiny fraction of the financial economy, of the global financial system as a whole. It's only about $3.5 trillion. That's less than 1% of the monetary mass of the stock market and the forex market. These, of course, needs to be taken into account. There's also the real estate market, and investors from the real estate market are, of course, actively coming here as well. That's why the surge could be enormous. By the way, I actually have a good suggestion for you, not just to speculate, but to actually do the math, because numbers don't lie. And if you take the total monetary mass and calculate what percentage that is, right? And in the case of, say, 50% of funds flowing into the cryptocurrency market, and Bitcoin accounts for about 50 to 60% of that market, you can roughly estimate the figure of what levels Bitcoin could reach. Just do a simple, easy calculation. Write your answers in the comments. I'll be happy to read them. As for Bitcoin, here's what I think. I don't see any kind of pullback, right? Additionally, I'll say that the scenario could change to a pullback down to $70,000 if there's a weekly close below $100,000. Bitcoin has successfully overcome the psychological mark of $100,000. There you go. Now, let's move on to Ethereum. Let's take a look at Ethereum. We're also looking at the monthly time frame, and we can clearly see that after a big solid corrective move here, powerful dump, we've got a nice candle with a long wick, about 27%, right? And here, a level has formed for us right around here, yes, at these marks. And of course, the bar closed above it. After that, there was a huge, strong green candle, and now it continues its dynamic upward growth. All of this overall can look like a bullish pennant, yes, on Bitcoin if we look at it this way. A long flagpole, and then this huge accumulation forming, which we have on Ethereum. How high can Ethereum go? Ethereum can reach levels up to, repeat, $18,000 confidently, and that's just based on technical analysis. That's if we don't take into account the possibility that it could also start being used as reserves by some countries, right? And the Bitcoin ETF has been approved, and the Ethereum ETF has also been approved. And of course, this opens the door to a large influx of capital. I can certainly rely on technical analysis because it's a kind of foundation, yes. But the news background and everything else suggests to me, and I've been in this market for 9 years, that this could be a very serious bull rally. And you can also calculate what percentage share Ethereum currently holds and what levels Ethereum could reach if at least 50% of the current capital were to flow into it. But it's also important to keep in mind that capital, after all, grows every year, and volumes are increasing, yes. For example, there wasn't $1,000 in the world that then decreased to $800. This volume is always increasing, the money supply is always growing, And of course, the population on the planet is also growing rapidly. And this will lead to an even greater inflow of money and to higher growth figures for these assets. What is important to watch on Ethereum right now? Ethereum is actually the favorite this year, in my opinion. It should deliver huge boosts, just enormous growth figures. I'm going to show and explain why now. The psychological mark, of course, will be somewhere around $4,000. And I believe that Ethereum will rapidly reach this level, and it should approach this mark in the very near future. Let me remind you, there were massive touches here. This is the weekly time frame, a huge number, and this $4,000 level is weakening. When it reaches $4,000, a rapid breakout will follow. It's important to keep an eye on this level, yes, because the rapid breakout will follow all the way up to $7,200, since that will be a key level. And of course, the peaks for this movement will be around $18,000, based solely on technical analysis, without taking the news background into account. Moreover, Ethereum has shown oversold conditions against Bitcoin. Let me remind you that for several years, I strongly insisted that Ethereum would drop significantly against Bitcoin, and that it wasn't worth paying attention to Ethereum at that time because Bitcoin would yield much higher returns in percentage terms against the dollar than Ethereum. But now this picture has completely changed, and Ethereum has already started making its breakthrough. It has already shown rapid growth, yes, a rapid increase of about 100% from the bottom. Very dynamic, and this growth is not over yet. It will only continue to build up, intensify, and heat up. So, Ethereum to Bitcoin is currently at its lowest levels, at the lows of 2020. Just look at the news background from 2023, 2024. When everyone was being aggressively pushed into Ethereum, practically everyone was urging people to buy Ethereum, emphasizing that it would deliver higher growth. Of course, that was simply market manipulation, because that's market making, right? Because people know how to manipulate this market. But right now, hardly anyone is talking about Ethereum. For most people, it's already considered dead because Bitcoin, the heavyweight asset, has shown much greater growth than Ethereum. But now, in my opinion, it's Ethereum's time, and I'm going to show you exactly why. The lower lows in 2019 and even 2020, we clearly reached this level, this boundary. And now, at the very least, Ethereum will outpace Bitcoin in growth by 110%. This will be the first stop point, and it will happen very quickly. That's why I expect Ethereum to reach at least $4,000 very quickly and dynamically, and then move on to $7,200 and around $15,000 according to technical analysis. And of course, BNB. These are the coins I'm analyzing specifically. Yes, Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB. Of course, we are accumulating them in the fund because these are the heaviest assets, and we are increasing their quantity. These are the most liquid tokens, the most liquid coins, and the heaviest coins as of today. And for now, I can consider anything more serious than them. That's why Bitcoin is electronic gold, Ethereum is smart contracts, and it fully covers the DeFi sector, it's digital silver. And the BNB token is simply the #1 global cryptocurrency exchange, Binance, where the largest trading volumes take place. That's why I believe these assets are the main ones to consider, not only for growing your money, but also for preserving it. So I see that since 2021, this entire cycle that has taken place has been an accumulation cycle for me. And now a new powerful movement is already starting to take shape. After breaking through and consolidating at around 700 USDT per BNB, BNB will grow very dynamically to 0 USDT. Then, according to technical analysis, it will reach $1,500 and approximately $20. This is, once again, not taking into account any news background. That's why it's worth paying attention to this. This scenario can only be cancelled if the weekly or monthly time frame consolidates around $560 or $570. If such consolidation occurs, the scenario may change, the structure will break, and the reverse scenario will unfold. But right now, we're not seeing anything like that at all. If you've been in the cryptocurrency market for a long time and you're not able to achieve big solid results, if you can't create that very strategy that will lead you to good profits and stop you from losing money, then here's a top strategy for you, one that I've discovered over 9 years through bitter tears, pulling my hair out, and all sorts of things happening. The most effective strategy is to consistently accumulate Bitcoin, Ethereum, and BNB for the long term, no matter how much they cost. That's your key to successful trading and successful investing. This isn't about futures. This is what truly works. No leverage, just step by step. Later, you'll thank yourself for it. Just do this, repeat it regularly and systematically whenever possible. Set aside 5 or 10% of your income and do this on a consistent basis. And if you also have the opportunity to increase the amount of Ethereum, Bitcoin, and BNB you hold, that will give you even greater growth. That's why this is the most successful, the most profitable strategy. This time, especially for you, we decided to hold a small contest. The contest is as follows. Try to guess the exact price of Bitcoin or make a prediction. The rules are simple. Each account is allowed to leave 3 comments with their predicted Bitcoin price. Whoever's comment is the most accurate or closest at the time we record our video, exactly 1 week from now, will win and receive $50 from us. And of course, we will mention you in our video and congratulate you. So good luck. Leave your comments and predict the price of Bitcoin. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss future episodes, and of course to find out who wins our contest. Here, you'll find only the distilled insights from our personal 9 years of experience in the cryptocurrency market. Use our channel so you don't have to make your own mistakes, but can move confidently upward with strategies we've already tested. Thank you for your attention. See you next time, and goodbye.